What you've seen earlier is the de Nova Stella. Today we'll be tackling about the person behind the discovery of the breathtaking beauty of the de Nova Stella. I'll take this as my greatest pleasure to present to you our team. We have Miss Janelle Hermoso, Miss Mayan Lapore, Miss Christine Liava, Miss RV Luz, and Mr. Lawrence Malara.
Isa siyang manloloko. Nasagap niyo bang pekeng ilong niya? Alamin natin kung ba't nagkaganoy. Dapat kayo alamin ang lahat ng totoo. Kung paano nagkaganoy, tayo'y makinig na ngayon. Dahil facts is prepare for each of us to learn. Hear us out, knowledge and facts will be served in front of you.
Magpapahuli ng kwento sa ginoong nangangalang Kepler. Usapan daw noon, nilasan niya si Tycho.
Totoo bang killer siya? It is masterpiece. Maniniwala na din ba kayo sa kwentong yon? Alamin ang lahat ng totoo. Ito kung paano nagkaganon, tayo'y makinig na ngayon. Axis prepare for each of us to learn. Please hear us out. Knowledge and facts will be served in front of you.
Tycho Brahe, 1546-1601. Tycho came from a highly aristocratic and wealthy family on December 14, 1546 at his parents' manor house at Natstarp in the Danish region of Skandia, which is now Sweden. Died on October 24, 1601, 54 years old in Prague. Some of his notable work is the Nova Stella. He lived in Natstarp Manor, which you can see the surrounding of a big mansion and agriculture. He studied at 12 years old in Copenhagen University. Supposed to study law, but he changed his mind and became interested in astronomy. The Nova Stella is a new star which discovered in 1572 in constellation Cassiopeia and now known as supernova.
When Tycho's parents are away from their home, Tycho was kidnapped by his uncle Georgian Brahe and aunt Inger Ox. It is because they were childless and they believed that Georgian was entitled to a lawful son and heir to his faith. So eventually, Tycho's parents agreed to this. In the summer of 1565, Tycho's stepfather Georgian had been in the process of making Tycho as his legal heir. Unfortunately, a war in Sweden intervened, and his uncle Georgian was appointed vice admiral of the Danish fleet. And sadly, he died of pneumonia in the summer of 1565. That is because after he fell into the water. So, Tycho was inherited nothing because the paperwork is incomplete. Brahe family was powerful and militaristic. By tradition, the male children become warriors, serving the interests of the family, king, and the Danish nobility. Though Tycho's foster mother Inger persuaded her husband that Tycho should receive an academic education. So instead of becoming a soldier, a warrior, and serving for his country, Tycho received an academic education that he deserved.
In April April 1566, Tycho Brahe came back to Germany December evening and got into an argument with Commander Parsberg, Tycho's third cousin, which led him into a duel and causing Tycho to lose his nose for the rest of his life. But would you believe that they became friends afterwards? However, Tycho wore a prosthetic nose for the rest of his life. Opened his grave in 1901 and it revealed that Tycho's famously silver nose is actually a brass. Uraniborg is an observatory island that the King of Denmark gave to Tycho Brahe. But this isn't some ordinary island, as Tycho Brahe isn't some ordinary astronomer and a scientist. This island was more of a castle where it was filled with formal gardens, rooms for families and stuffs, and the rooms for royalties' visitation. It was also filled with an area where he conducted his studies and a separate area where he print or publish his data and works. It was also orchestrated with a circus for his entertainment as well. Uraniborg is an observatory island where Tycho Brahe conducted his studies and parties for over 20 years.
So what is Tychonic system? Tychonic system is a model of the universe published by Tycho Brahe. It is a theoretical model of the universe that hypothesizes that the Earth is the center of the universe. In this model, it shows that the Earth is the center of the universe and the Sun, Moon, and stars orbit the Earth. And those planets are Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, and Mars. Tycho's theory about the conic model contains the element of both the Earth-centered Ptolemaic system and Sun-centered Copernican system. This means that Ptolemy and Copernicus theories are combined in Tycho's system model. Tycho said that Copernicus was right about what? That the 5 planets do orbit the Sun: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And Ptolemy said that the Moon, stars, and Sun orbit the Earth.
Tycho Brahe was long thought had died from a bladder infection due to politeness for not leaving the table during the royal banquet, until the scientists opened his grave in 1901 to mark his 300th death anniversary, and they claimed to have found a mercury on his remains, fueling the rumors that he had been poisoned, and Johannes Kepler was once accused for the said crime. Tycho Brahe hoarded his research since he did not want to share credits to anybody else. But Johannes Kepler was Tycho's assistant who had some access on Tycho's works and his data. It was rumored that Johannes Kepler poisoned Tycho Brahe to complete his realm of science. In 2010, his body was exhumed and the test revealed that he had died from a bladder infection due to holding his pee for too long. In case you were wondering why, Tycho believed that it would be rude to leave the table until the king arrives. So technically, Johannes Kepler was out of the picture. But Johannes Kepler did admit that he had crossed some ethical lines to complete his studies.
In 16,000, he went to Prague to work for Tycho Brahe, the imperial mathematician. Kepler's main project was to investigate the orbit of Mars. In the early 16,000, he proposed the 3 planetary of motion. He able to summarize the collected data with help of Tycho Brahe with 3 statements that describe the motion of planets in a sun-centered solar system. Johannes Kepler is ugly and his parents were poor, but his budding intelligence earned him a scholarship to the University of Tübingen to study for the Lutheran ministry. There he was introduced to the ideas of Copernicus. In 1596, he wrote the Mysterium Cosmographicum. In 1589, he received a scholarship and his university education at the Protestant University of Tübingen. Johannes Kepler was a German astronomer, mathematician, astrologer, natural philosopher, and writer on music. He is regarded as a pivotal figure in the 17th century scientific revolution and is best known for his laws of planetary motion. One of the pillars of Newton's theory of universal gravitation was also established by these studies. Facts about Johannes Kepler. He was born prematurely and was a feeble child with weak vision. He was introduced to astronomy at an early age by his mother. He wrote the first defense of the heliocentric model of Copernicus. He married twice and had a number of children. He served as imperial mathematician to the Holy Roman Emperor.
The first law of planetary motion that Kepler discovered was the law of eclipse. Ellipse is where the planets are orbiting the sun in a path. Planets move in elliptical orbits with the sun at one focus. All planets orbit the sun in a path that resembles an ellipse, with the sun being located at the one of the focus of that ellipse. We can easily construct ellipse with the use of pencil, two tacks, string, sheet of paper, and cardboard like what we see in our presentation.
Sometimes referred to as the law of equal areas, describe the speed at which any given planet moves while orbiting the sun. The speed at which planets moves through space is constantly changing. It states that a planet closest to the sun moves fastest and the planets farthest from the sun moves slowest. But Johannes Kepler failed to explain how these planets maintain their position in their respective orbit. It is stated that when a planet is closest to the sun, its orbital velocity increases and we called it perihelion. And when the planet is farthest from the sun, its orbital velocity decreases, we called it aphelion.
The third law that Kepler discovered was the law of harmonics. It states that the closest planets travel at the greatest speeds and have the shortest orbital periods. It is different for the first and the second law that he discovered. Third law make a comparison between the motion characteristics of different planets. The comparison being made is that the ratio of the squares of the periods to the cubes of their average distances from the sun is the same for every one of the planets.
The square of the period divided by the cube of the mean distance is equal to a constant. Prepare yourself for some icebreaker. Before we start, please be notified by our direction. Write the surname of that person you were attracted with inside the classroom if the question is true. And write the name of that person if the question is false. Everyone will be given a 1 minute to finish the icebreaker. We'll check this after the plot question. Thank you so much.